And now from our studios in downtown Winnipeg, it's time for 107 Live.
Prairie Debut links the best Canadian classical and world musicians with rural communities across Alberta, Saskatchewan, Manitoba, and the Yukon. This month, cellist Chloe Dominguez and pianist Janelle Fung tour Souris, the Pas, Pinawa, and Portage la Prairie. Before they depart, they've joined me in the Classic 107 studio in Winnipeg to share some music. Good morning to you both.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Well, it's such a pleasure to have you here. Welcome to Winnipeg. Chloe, I know you were just here with the Ensemble Contemporain du Montréal. Welcome back.
Yeah, thank you.
Janelle, we were chatting off the air. When's the last time you were in Winnipeg?
My guess is 2015, 2014.
And you were here in the studio, right?
I was here in the studio, yes.
Yeah, back when we were very fresh-faced. We were new and young, and so glad to have you.
Glad to see you guys are thriving. It's
yeah.
fantastic.
Well, I'm glad to have you back. So you're both Montreal-based musicians currently, right?
Yes.
Chloe, when's the first time you performed together?
With Janelle?
With Janelle, yeah.
This was
I would say 2 years ago.
2 years ago.
And what brought you together then?
Well, actually, I've heard Janelle play in concert, and I've heard of Janelle many times. And when I've heard her in concert, I knew we would be a good match. So I think I called you or emailed you to see if we could bring a project and a concert together. So, yeah.
And now here we are in
Yes,
Winnipeg
we are,
performing as part of Prairie Debut. Janelle, what are you most looking forward to about this tour?
Well, this is my second tour for Prairie Debut,
Yeah.
and I just adore being out here. Prairie hospitality is a real thing.
Yeah.
And it's just like very, very lovely to bring this music to these communities and to see these places that we would not necessarily get to go. I'm super excited because we're going way up north this time to like the Pass.
Yeah, the Pas,
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you just kind of hit the nail on the head. I mean, it's a really cool opportunity to travel around Manitoba.
Mm-hmm.
I've lived here my whole life, and I've never made it further north than Dauphin, which is about 400 kilometers south of the Pas.
Well, there you go.
So you really get to explore such a wide range of the province. And then looking at the rest of it, I mean, there is Souris tomorrow, and then, like we mentioned, the Pas, southeast down to Pinawa, and then the tour ends in Portage la Prairie.
Yes.
I Google mapped it. It's 1,800 kilometers. That is quite
Holy
the tour.
moly.
Yeah, right? And it's weird when you see it on paper. Chloe, are there any challenges that come with such a tour? 1,800 kilometers in 4 days?
Yeah, well, absolutely. The cello, how to make the cello travel, right?
Yeah.
It's a quite something. So I have with me a cello that can travel underneath the plane, right? Because for other cello, another instrument that I have has to have a seat, right?
Right.
So I have to bring an instrument that can make all this travel and go to these places.
Yeah.
And putting it in the travel case is no joke. It took the two of us like 5 minutes and 3 implements to get it in.
Yeah, it requires a fork, it requires a utensil, wooden utensils, lots of strength.
Yeah, I mean, the logistics that come with being a touring musician. And I mean, often people think, well, here they are on the stage, and that's all that went into it. But no, there's so much more. I mean, who knew it took so long to get a cello into a case?
Yeah, 30 minutes coming here. I thought, am I going to miss my plane? I did it.
Well, I'm glad you're both here. Nonetheless, the tour is titled Enchanted Worlds. Janelle, what can you tell us about the program?
Yeah, so we're exploring fairy tales and folklore and how it inspires composers all the way throughout history, from Beethoven all the way up through Alexander Louis, who's a living composer who wrote this piece just in the 1990s.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing that really struck me, is that it's such an often paired duo, right, with the cello and the piano, and with so many generations of composers exploring the repertoire. The other nice thing is that there's such a wide range of color and palette and direction that you can go. For you, Chloe, what do you hope that audiences take away from this performance?
For me, it's to bring them into their imagination, right?
Yeah.
It's, as Janelle was saying, music can really tell a story without words. So those pieces are based on stories, but then it's up to the listener to make up their own stories and their own images and feelings. And so I think it really brings them into their own imagination, and that's really what I think this recital is so strong about.
Yeah, getting lost in the music.
Yeah.
Right? That's such an important thing. So you've been kind enough to bring your cello out of the case
Yes.
this Monday morning. Would you mind playing for us? What are we going to hear?
Delighted. This is the slow movement from the extraordinary sonata for cello and piano by Frédéric Chopin.
All right. So here we are, live on Morning Light. Chloe Dominguez on the cello with Janelle Fung at the piano performing music of Chopin. Music of Chopin, performed by cellist Chloe Dominguez and pianist Janelle Fung, who made a stop here at the Winnipeg Classic 107 studio before departing on their Prairie tour. Thank you both so much for coming by this morning.
Thanks so much for having us.
You can read more about their tour up at classic107.com.
From our studios in downtown Winnipeg, you've been listening to 107 Live, Classic 107's intimate concert series, the soundtrack for your life.